Welcome to today's topic. Hong Kong is always well known for its high density of population and traffic flow. To meet the demand for commuting and loosen the problem of traffic congestion, mass transit system is one of the most important transportation for Hong Kong people. However, as one of the major construction projects of transportation in Hong Kong, the Sha Tin Central Link has been revealed that the construction work on the rail line was not executed to plan and involved in several quality problems. The scandals of this 97 billion Hong Kong dollars project include the issues of cutting steel bars, excessive settlements of adjacent buildings, and further errors in the construction of certain structures in exhibition center stations, To Kwa Wan stations, and especially Hong Kong Station. The Sha Tin Central Link is a railway development project under the responsibility of MTR Corporation. This project is divided into two parts, which are Tai Wai to Hong Kong section as the first phase. It forms the Tuen Ma line with the existing Mount On Shan line and West Rail line. On the other hand, Hong Kong to MRT section is the second phase extending south from the current East Rail line to Hong Kong Island with MRT as the terminus. The project was funded by the Hong Kong government and was supervised by the MTR Corporation. Moreover, Leighton Asia is the main contractor of this project. These subcontractors were assigned by it to be responsible for different sections of the construction. Among them, Fangshan Construction is the subcontractor of the reinforcement fixing work, and China Technology Corporation is the subcontractor of the concrete slabs construction. These three contractors would be the major stakeholders involved in these scandals. Since the controversy of Sha Tin Central Link has been revealed in May of 2018, an independent commission of inquiry had been formed by the government for investigations of all of these issues and experienced a total of 78 days of hearsays in two stages. The main parties involved in this case are the Transport and Housing Bureau and Highways Department from the government, MTR Corporation Limited, and Leighton Asia, also other contractors. Throughout these 3 years, there are still not a few of conflicts which still have not been solved, such as the responsibilities of the areas and the collection of documents and statistics. Following, we are going to study furthermore regarding the controversy by looking at the details of the issues in each station during the construction, the replies of different stakeholders, as well as the causes and effects brought by these issues respectively.
Hello, I'm Mark, and let me talk about how the incident happened in this case. Firstly, I will introduce the main stakeholders in this case. This is the supervisor of the MTR Corporation. MTR Corporation is responsible for supervising the whole railway expansion project. He is representing the MTR Corporation in our presentation. Then, this woman represents Leighton Asia. Leighton Asia Limited is the main contractor in this project. They are responsible to assign different contractors to be responsible for different projects. And this man represents China Technology Corporation. China Technology is the contractor responsible for the floor concrete work in this project. And these three are the main stakeholders in our case. There are three main locations in our case, including To Kwa Wan Station, Exhibition Center Station, and Hong Kong Station. I will talk about the incidents in different stations in the following. First, let's talk about the issue happened in To Kwa Wan. The first issue is that there are cut rubber found in the platform. The partition wall between the escalator and the stairs is found not being implemented in accordance with the plan. One of the two layers of steel bars in the wall was cut away, but the supervisor of the MTR Corporation did not report the issue. The MTR confirmed that and MTL supervisor did not report the contractor's fault and has begun disciplinary procedures. The second issue in To Kwan Station is that there is a hidden fact of settlement. There is a large-scale settlement occurring near To Kwan Station, causing 23 surrounding buildings and underground pipes settle beyond the allowable upper limit, and 7 locations exceed the allowable limits. In addition, the settlement of 3 pipes exceed the standard. Gas explosion may occur. However, the Highway Department, MTL Corporation, and Lighten Asia Limited did not inform the public about the settlement and still continue the construction. There is no consequences for them in this issue. Then, let's talk about issues happen in Exhibition Center Station. Firstly, there is a misbuilding of continuous wall. Engineers draw the wrong plan due to inefficient communication, and it caused a front and back error of the construction wall. The front and back are turned around during the construction. The supervisor of the MTL Corporation claimed that he already knew the problem back in 2016 and the failed report has been issued to the contractor. Secondly, there is a settlement problem also in this site. There is a 83 mm settlement in this site, which exceed the standard for 2.3 times. The problem hasn't been revealed until newspaper reported. The project is forced to shut down until the government relaxed the settlement standard to 95 mm. Then let's talk about the issue happened in Hong Kong Station. Hong Kong Station is the most serious location in these incidents. Firstly, there is a water seepage in underground tunnels. Newspaper revealed that a tunnel near Hong Kong Station has serious water seepage problem. After investigation, it was found that the steel bars inside the tunnel were not fully connected and not filled with concrete. China Technology Corporation is charged penalty in this incident. Secondly, the newspaper revealed that some of the protective plugs of screw caps is not removed in continuous wall in a tunnel. Some professional comments on this issue, saying that if the protective plugs are not removed, it means that there are no twisting in of the rebar. The structure of the continuous wall is not completed and there is a danger anytime. It may collapse. Lastly, also newspaper revealed that in 2 main walls on the platform, the steel bars are cut short. Lighten Construction, the contractor in charge, not only failed to replace the defective parts, but pretend to be a successful connection. It was also found that the contractor changed the design before construction and removed part of the top layer steel bars in the design of 77 continuous wall. However, the design has never been formally applied to the MTR or the buildings department. It was only in January 2015 that the MTR and the government discovered the problem, but it has not been announced to the public. Short steel bars could cause serious structural problems, and it may cause the building to collapse. MTR only reports to the media in closed-door meetings. These incidents are very serious, and it could endanger public safety. Let's look into how different stakeholders respond to these incidents. Firstly, in these incidents, the MTL Corporation mostly denied the accusers at first. However, there are more and more evidence found by the newspaper, and they finally admit that there is an oversight during supervision. Some supervisors are punished in these incidents. For China Technology Corporation, the CEO claims that they complete the construction work according to Leighton's planning, and the supervisor of Lighten Asia already approved their construction. The incidents happened according to Leighton's plan. Those incidents are not their fault. Lastly, the government suspended the main contractor identity of Lighten Asia Limited after these incidents. However, LSGI Limited is then resumed bidding qualification. Some congressmen comment that the punishment is too slight for such serious incidents.
Now, I'm going to talk about the violation of specific codes of practice, regulations, ordinance, and laws in this case of scandal. The first issue is the cutting off of the reinforcement steel from the structural wall in To Kwa Wan Station. It has been discovered that the partition wall in the station was not being implemented in accordance with the architectural drawing. A layer of reinforcement steel in the wall was cut away, but the supervisor of the MTR did not report it. After the implementation of a detailed investigation by MTR, it's confirmed that the supervisor had not informed about the slack of the contractors, and the MTR was started the disciplinary process. According to the Rule of Conduct for the Hong Kong Institute of Surveyors and Engineers, the surveyors and engineers should show responsibility to the professions, employers, and the public. In this case, that construction supervisor was found to follow the above rules. Firstly, the supervisor violates the rules that requires the responsibility to his profession as he failed to truthfully report the construction issue. The Rule of Conduct states that supervisors should uphold the dignity, standing, and reputation of the profession by discharging his professional responsibility with integrity, fairness, and courtesy. He is also required to give opinions in his professional capacity to the best of his ability, objective, reliable, and honest. Because of his behavior, he has violated the rule on profession. Besides, for the responsibility to the employer, the Rule of Conduct states that the supervisor shall discharge his duties to his employer with integrity and in accordance, such as offering complete loyalty to his employer in all matters that act with fairness between his employer and any other party concerned. That supervisor conceals the construction such that his employer, the MTR, has suffered loss from money and reputation. His behavior also violates the rule on employer. Finally, for the responsibility to the public, the Rule of Conduct states that the supervisor should govern the interests of the general public, in particular their safety, in discharging his responsibility to his employer and the profession. In this case, that supervisor ignores the potential harm to the public of this fatal construction. His behavior also violates the rule on the public. The second issue is to conceal the settlement of buildings and gas pipe exceeding the standard by the MTR. According to the internal consultant report from MTR, a large settlement near To Kwa Wan Station, such as the buildings and underground pipes, settle exceed the allowable limit. But the MTR did not notify the gas company and the residents nearby. The MTR neglect the impacts of projects on residents, as the settlements on building and gas pipe may cause the issue of collapse and explode, which serious harm to the residents. It not only violates the construction rules and standard on settlements, but also violates the code of ethics that protects the safety, health, and welfare of the public. The final issue is a falsification of the platform in Hong Kong Station. It was revealed that 20% of the screw heads in the platform are damaged or displaced, which may affect the tensile and load-bearing capacity of the structure and cause collapse. The main contractor, Lighten Construction, not only failed to remove the defective parts but pretends to be a successful construction. The MTR admit that the reinforcement steel was found in the early stage. They also refused to provide the exact situation affected and photograph evidence. In this situation, both Lighton Construction and MTRs have violated the Code of Ethics on protecting the safety and power of familiarity to the construction issue. Falsification is serious and unacceptable behavior on a construction project, but these two companies try to hide the issue, which caused the loss of confidence from the public. This behavior may also violate the law and be required to bear criminal offense.
Move on to the consequences and impacts. Let's have a flashback about the construction issue in different stations. The media disclosed a succession of construction issues along the Sha-Tin to Central Link from the end of May to the end of August 2018, including the extension project of Hong Kong Station, where the steel bars were cut short. The collection point of the continuous wall was seepage. The steel bars were removed from the platform wall of To Kwai Station. The excavation works of the Exhibition Center Station did not install deep supports. The settlement standard of buildings and underground facilities exceeds the allowable upper limit, etc. Senior civil engineer Lee explained that the main function of the steel bar is to hold the concrete wall. It will then link the weight to the wall, allowing the concrete wall to support the specific weight. As a result, if the steel bar is not correctly connected to the concrete wall, the associated weight will lose its bearing points. The steel bar will break due to its inability to sustain itself, and the entire floor will be inclined appropriately. On the platform of Hong Kong Station, for example, a great number of steel bars will be sheared. It is possible that the entire platform layer will be collapsed. Move on to the first consequences and impacts. Increasing cost and operation time. The MTR need to notify the government of the construction issues on Hong Kong Station platform, To Kwai Station concrete wall, and the exhibition center's temporary support works in a timely manner. The engineering supervision system contains faults, and this action increased the construction costs and time necessary in an indirect way. The price of the Sha-Tin to Central Link was 7.8 billion Hong Kong dollars originally, and it is already the most expensive railway project in history. However, during the construction of the link, there were many hidden problems found, and the MTR company did not respond any of it until the journalists reported to the public. As the project has been prolonged, it requires multiple additional funding. MTR announced that it had reported to the government on December 5, 2017, that the total cost of the Sha-Tin to Central Link project will increase from 70.8 billion Hong Kong dollars to 87.3 billion dollars, including reserve funds and possible upward project management fees that need to be paid. In addition, the cost of other projects on the Sha-Tin to Central Link was 8.7 billion dollars, and the expansion projects of Admiralty Station was overexpanded by 848 million dollars, which increased the total construction cost of the Sha-Tin to Central Link to 97.1 billion Hong Kong dollars, which can be called a 100 billion railway project. Apart from the project's delay and cost increases, the safety issue is also a major concern. As previously said, there's a suspicion of cutting corners on the link, and if the link is constructed, safety problems may arise. Using the Hong Kong Station as an example, the reinforcing steel bars were not securely screwed into coupons along the tunnel wall, causing the slab to be stretched and relying solely on the rebar that was grated into it and to hold it back. The bar will come out easily, as it is not possibly harnessed, and forcing the platform to collapse if adding high pressure frequently. If this situation really happens, it will cause severely death and injuries. Until now, the construction of the Sha-Tin to Central Link was reported by many scholars and it reduces the popularity and trust from the citizens. In the past, the MTR company before the merger of the two railways was able to complete the projects and open to traffic expanded. However, for many years after the construction of the Sha Tin to Central Link, the MTR has repeatedly requested additional funding on the grounds that the project has encountered complicated geological conditions and underground pipeline conditions. Some members question that the MTR had not done a good job of survey work. Since then, there have been a repeated incidents of cutting corners, making the public wonder whether there is a transfer of benefits in the construction.
Now, the conflict has still not been tackled, but there are still something we could learn from this scandal. As a part of the construction industry in the future, we should always bear in mind that not only your technical knowledge is crucial, but also the ethics of a land surveyor. Although most of the time of our study is focusing on the techniques of our profession, but those knowledge could only ensure us to be able to establish the works only if we contain a good ethical mindset to be responsible to our work quality. We could complete our work with our best. It is because the quality of work is highly related to not only the reputation of ourselves and the companies, but also the safety of the public. To make sure the quality of a construction is more important for us to be responsible to our profession, not cutting the corner for any step of the construction, but be serious and respectful to the quality of works, to our industry and also the society. In the aspect of the management, the responsibilities of the supervisors and the companies is high as well. This has taught us that during an accident or an error, the supervisor or the person in charge of management should always have the largest responsibility to monitor the progress and quality of construction, so to be blamed with the largest extent as well. It reminds us that in the workplace, we should take good care of not only ourselves, but also to manage and keep an eye on anything regarding the project of all of our teammates too. With the great power comes great responsibility. In the future, when we enter the society and the construction industry, we are going to have more and more stuff to be responsible for. And this case has taught us a lesson about it deeply.